The sneaker market is in a really weird position right now. The Miro Jordan 7 just returned after nearly 20 years and sold out, but resale really isn't nothing too crazy. Meanwhile, other sneaker releases are sitting. So let's talk about what's really going on right now. The Miro Jordan 7s just dropped, and right now resale's around, we're gonna resell in 1 second, but they dropped and like retail is $255, so that's low-key high for this shoe. I'm assuming it's gonna have some special packaging. You know, it looks like this come in a face box, but they come with extra laces and stuff. Pretty much the history behind this shoe is the last time they came out was in 2008, and they're super exclusive, even though they weren't like an OG colorway or like an OG colorway. It was like a new colorway. It's like one of the most exclusive like Jordan 7s apparently that dropped at that time. Well, if they didn't drop in 2026, it'd be like one of the most limited Jordan 6s or Jordan 7s of all time. So they re-retroed them, brought them back obviously today, and today's July 10th, 2026. So it's nearly, about 18 years later. They're supposed to represent like Michael Jordan. He played in the Olympics, like on the Barcelona team. They called it the Dream Team. So that's pretty much the history behind this shoe. That's why it's like colorful, kind of like Olympic type, Barcelona type colors, and they are clean. I do actually somewhat like these. I mean, I know some people aren't the biggest fan of them, but obviously a lot of people are a big fan of them too. I'm assuming a lot of the OG sneakerheads came back for this shoe or definitely copped them, because even though resale isn't like too crazy, especially in sizes 10.5 and down, which 10.5 is usually like a good like resale size. So if you did want these, low-key they're under retail in some sizes, which is crazy. Like if you wear like a size, so it is a good time to be a sneakerhead, y'all, like if you do want these shoes. But the reason why a lot of these shoes are, even though like it's a good time to be a sneakerhead and that a lot of these shoes are cheap, a lot of people just aren't able to spend $200 on the shoe because they have other expenses and stuff. So I think that's really what's going on. So even though a lot of people argue and say this is the best time to be a sneakerhead, no resellers, stuff like that, like a lot of people aren't buying up these releases, like, which is interesting. I think that low-key stock had to be kind of limited this morning, y'all. Don't get me wrong, Jordans are still selling out, but as I expected, this shoe was very limited. Apparently only 1,752 pairs, so that's 1,752 pairs of these Miro 7s dropped this morning, so that's super limited. I'm not sure exactly what like the size breakdown was for these. I can't see. I can just see like the total stock, and you could take my word for it, or I'm not pulling these numbers out of nowhere. This is like actually like the stock numbers that I pulled up. So that's as expected. Yeah, they're pretty limited, pretty nice shoe, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about like the market and stuff, because obviously the market's kind of weird. Like certain stuff selling out. Jordan Brand's been trying to keep stuff more limited to like bring more hype, and that's how they're able to actually sell out pairs, just by like limiting stock. Because y'all saw what happened with like the industrial blues whenever they dropped, and other Jordans like Toro 4s. They dropped way too many pairs, y'all, and then they just sit. But also certain shoes like the Toro 4s, they just like, I mean, even though that was a shoe that was like $400 or $500, it's just not the most like super wearable shoe, I feel like. So I just feel like I kind of, even if they like limited stock on that shoe, I just don't think it'd do too good, just because it's not like a, like it's not like a super OG colorway one, and then also it's like a red Jordan 4, so it's like not the easiest to pair up in outfits and stuff. But yeah, there's a big debate going on between the resellers and the collectors. So I could talk for both, because I am a collector and reseller. People might be like, oh, that's neutral, bro. You can't be neutral. It's either a reseller or a collector. And I get both sides. I get why the collectors are like, some collectors, like let's say, I was buying sneakers up. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not buying up a bunch of sneakers for me right now, just because I don't have bread just to be like spending $200 like every other week on like a Jordan release. And also, like, not every single Jordan, it has to go into my collection. I feel like a lot of people that agree. Like, a lot of people's got more selective because they're trying to, like, either save money or they're just got other expenses. For me, it's just, like, save money. Put it towards other stuff. Yeah, that's where my reseller side's been kicking in. And it takes discipline to do that, y'all. It takes discipline to say, okay, no, this is a good Jordan release, but I'm going to skip on these. If they're, if I can, I'm going to put that into, like, my business. I'm going to put that into something where I can make money on it. And right now, one of my businesses is, reselling, sneakers. So I think that's, the smarter move for me right now. Not saying for you. Some people have extra money to buy, to collect and stuff. That's great. I think, collectors are like, that's like the main things that's like the main like people that hold up the sneakerhead community. Like people that actually wear shoes, not resellers. Reselling is just like a venture. Like it's just like a smaller percentage of the people who are into it. Obviously during 2020, 2021, there was a bunch of resellers jumping out of the bushes. And those are kind of the people that made people hate resellers, because a lot of the shoes were going for inflated prices, and people overpaid, and then they like got stuck with like Jordan 1 mids and stuff that they paid $400 or $500 for that's worth dirt cheap now. And it's this like, I get it for those people, but at the same time, I mean, that's kind of y'all's fault, because it's like, I mean, I've been a sneakerhead since like 2013. Like I was in the KDs, stuff like that. I got into Jordans and stuff around like 2015, 20. I was always in Jordans, but I just wasn't buying them. I was mainly buying like basketball shoes that were on the court. And I even like, you know what I'm saying, being a sneakerhead, that's a pretty long time, since like 2013, over 10 years. I know like how much I should be spending on a certain shoe. Like you would never catch me, even if the market, even if the shoe on StockX was going for $500. If a Jordan 1 mid, I've always knew this. Like mids have always been like a hated on Jordan 1. Like that's never been a cool shoe to wear. I remember the first time I copped a Jordan 1 at like the mall, there was no Jordan 1s. Like Jordan 1s used to be like the hot model, y'all. Like during like 2015, 2016, they were selling out. Like they were always sold out. Like unless you wore like a smaller size, which I wore a smaller size at the time, so I could low-key snag up a couple Jordan 1s here and there. I remember that David Letterman's dropped at that point in time, and I copped those easily in the mall. They were sitting, but most of the time Jordan 1s were not sitting around that 2015, 2016 time. There's a lot of YouTubers, sneaker YouTubers like Kai Somar, a bunch of other ones I can name. I could, you know what I'm saying, talk about. I don't feel like naming all those YouTubers. Y'all know, if y'all were around then, that were hyping up the Jordan 1 releases and stuff like that. And they're just the most like chatter backboard ones. Those go for now under retail. They brought them back. I mean, Nike just brought those back at a horrible time. Like they shouldn't have even brought those back, to be honest. And if they did, they should have waited a couple years. And if they did, low-key, they should have did what they did with the bread bands. You know what I'm saying? Y'all saw what they did with the bread bands, like the 85 cut. They brought back the bread ones, which last time it came out 2016. But they made it better. They only dropped them at 23 boutiques around the United States, and that made them, you know, it's a $450 sneaker. But low-key, to only drop at 23 boutiques, not hit Sneakers app, that shoe should easily be a $700 sneaker right now, $650 sneaker, but it's not. So that just shows you like the economy and stuff we're in and the current state. I guess there's just not as many people buying up sneakers, but a lot of people that came back to my point, I know I'm rambling, but at the same time, it's kind of like interesting points. A lot of people that were paying expensive numbers for like Jordan 1 mids, those were people that were brand new to sneakers. They were just into it because it was cool. They were bored during like 2020, 2021, so just wanted a hobby. And bro, any real sneakerhead would never spend $400, $500 on a regular dunk, like a Panda dunk, like a basic colorway, like not a collab, like not like a Jackie Robinson or something like that, just a regular freaking Panda, or a Jordan 1 mid that's just a GR colorway, nothing exclusive about it. I mean, I don't even think there's ever been like an exclusive Jordan 1 mid that's like a collab or anything, because obviously Jordan Brand would do it with a real Jordan 1. So that's really on those people. So the people that are spent overpaid on certain sneakers like that, like that's on y'all. I'm sorry. You gotta have knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And I guess you gotta live and learn, right? And if you did overpay on a sneaker back then, that doesn't mean you have to hate sneaker resellers forever. Doesn't mean you made a horrible mistake. The life's, you know, the world's not ending or anything. Like it's not the end of the world or nothing. Like it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I've overpaid on sneakers in the past for sure, but on good sneakers. But yeah, the True Blues are dropping next Saturday, so that's next week. And right now resale is, you know what I'm saying, very low. Obviously a Jordan 3 in this day and time. Back then, Jordan 3s, black cements, like 2018. They were a very hot sneaker. You know what I'm saying? That was a very in-style sneaker. Right now, you know, the True Blue Jordan 3s, even though this used to be like one of my favorite Jordan 3s, low-key, I don't know what it is. They're still dope, don't get me wrong. This is actually a shoe that I'd like to have in the personal collection. And I'm actually glad that they're cheap, you know what I'm saying? Because like, let's say I do want to add them to my personal collection, you know what I'm saying? I can get them from hella cheap, under retail. So it is good for the collectors, but for the business standpoint, obviously as a reseller, it's not good, but you know, that just is what it is. You got to go about it certain ways. I kind of got into that in my other video. If you are a reseller, you know, you got to go about it different ways. You can't just buy retail releases and drop it on StockX and, you know what I'm saying, take your payout and make hella profit. I mean, that just doesn't really work nowadays, especially on most of these new releases. Y'all see like the Miro 7s, those didn't even drop in retailers. So that shoe should be going for way more too. Because I only think they dropped in like Foot Lockers and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. I think that they only dropped on Sneakers app and maybe some other boutiques. I don't even think they dropped in stores. But these True Blue 3s are already like under retail in some sizes. Size 10 men's $190, retail is $230. So pretty crazy. Retail has been going up on certain Jordans, but for example, the Space Jam 11s that are dropping this year, that shoe's gonna sell out. I already know it, unless they drop like too much stock, which I don't think they will. I think Jordan Brands like learned their lesson. They tried to like take out the resellers by like flooding the market, but then what happens? They get stuck with shoes sitting on shelves and retailers that I don't even think shoes could sit in a retailer like Jordans. I don't think they could even sit in the retailer more than like 3 months. And like if they sit more than 3 months, they have to ship them to the Nike outlets for like discount. I heard that from someone in a podcast. It's like it hurts Nike, you know what I'm saying? Because they won't be able to sell shoes. So they're trying to, you know what I'm saying, they try to burn the resellers and end up burning themselves. Which you would think a big company like that would know that. Maybe they did and they just didn't care. But you would think a big company would like know like they could foresee the future, but I guess they just make mistakes too sometimes. I'm gonna wrap up the video here, y'all. Mainly just want to make a video on the Miro 7s because it's actually a cool shoe I like. I kind of got off track what I was talking about. I don't want to make this video too long, but let me know in the comments what y'all think about the current like sneaker game, not just sneaker market. Obviously, you know what I'm saying, if you are, you know, if you're a reseller sneakerhead, just let me know what you think about the current sneaker game. I think, you know what I'm saying, it's in a weird place, but there's still good releases coming out. So hey, if you got the money to spend on the pairs, then hey, you can get the pairs for pretty damn cheap now. And if you're a reseller, my camera cut out, but pretty much I was gonna say, if you're a reseller, you gotta go about it a different way. But that's everything I talk about, y'all. Stay tuned for more for our videos. God bless. Peace.